ancient times, May Day has been a day for welcoming the spring. In Paris on May Day, lilies of the valley have long been sold as a symbol of the joyful holiday with which Europeans greet the changing of the seasons. And in 1889, it was this day, May Day, that workers all over the world chose to demonstrate their solidarity and to restate the goal of organized labor, a fair day's wage for a fair day's work. In their struggle, free trade unions have constantly been faced with the threat of political interference. The German labor movement was the first force Hitler set out to destroy in building a Nazi Germany. He used May Day to break up peaceful demonstrations of German workers, to smash the unions, and finally to impose his Nazi labor front. May Day became a display of regimented Nazi might. Today, Hitler's Germany is dead. But the twilight of Hitlerism left another totalitarian power, still exploiting labor with the same ruthless technique. In 1951, Soviet Russia still regiments millions of workers. They have their place in a Moscow May Day, but well behind the troops and guns that enforced the Soviets' vicious labor code. Printed by the State Publishing House in 1947, it prescribes that no worker may leave his job in state, cooperative, or public enterprises, nor change jobs without permission. Penalty, 2 to 4 months forced labor. That the People's Commissariat of Internal Affairs is granted the right to sentence persons considered socially dangerous to confinement in corrective labor camps for a period up to 5 years. That citizens late for work, leaving early, or idling on the job are guilty of absenteeism, up to 25 years hard labor. And so the Kremlin mobilizes on May Day. The Russian people today are still ignorant of the rights workers have won in the West. But outside the Soviet bloc, the free trade unions know what is happening to workers who believed in the promises of communism. Norwegian workers used May Day 1951 to mourn the veteran 62-year-old Hungarian labor leader, Anna Ketley, now sentenced to 15 years hard labor by the party courts of Budapest. Norwegian workers who have constantly resisted communism in their own country are mindful of their common frontier with Russia. They plan for the day when fellow workers across the border will also be free to choose their own leaders and to establish free trade unions. From a mass meeting, women labor leaders of the 3 Scandinavian countries go directly to the Hungarian legation and present a formal petition for the release of their fellow trade unionists. Meanwhile, in Denmark on May Day, 210 non-communist trade unions, representing more than 250,000 people, launch a nationwide Peace with Freedom campaign, an answer to the false slogans with which Russia tries to camouflage her aggressive moves. Denmark's free trade unionists have fought communism within their ranks for over 30 years. Today they enjoy a high standard of living, and Red Russia's technique of the big lie and the glowing promise makes little impression on them. In Holland, too, May Day is a time not for the displays of military might in the communist manner, but for a happy affirmation of labor's strength and well-being. In Amsterdam, not only the workers themselves, but also the Labour Party Youth Organization join in the celebration with songs, parades, and traditional May Day dances. German workers, May Day has a special significance, for they remember how their unions were smashed and their hard-won rights stolen from them. But the free unions Hitler destroyed rose again at war's end. Their membership increased from a handful in 1945 to more than 4.5 million in 1951. German workers are today among the best organized and most completely protected of any in Europe. Few trade unionists anywhere have won such an equal voice with management in the control of industry. German workers, proud of their democratic trade union record, turn out in force to celebrate May Day 1951. 35,000 at Essen, 100,000 at Munich, and 800,000 throughout the Rhine-Ruhr region. In West Berlin, a battered island behind the Iron Curtain, 500,000 rallied in the Potsdamer Republic. Determined never to be isolated from the West, Berlin workers listened intently to American trade union leaders, Henry Rutz and Victor Reuther.
Berliner Arbeiterschaft hat hier durch ihre heroische
May Day 1951 is a fitting climax to German labor's post-war comeback. In Vienna, capital of another nation which knew Nazi tyranny, workers join in a dramatic affirmation of Austrian labor solidarity. Greeting the workers this May Day is the famous socialist union leader, Theodor Körner, now the elected president of Austria. On the Ringstrasse, traditional rallying point for Austrian labor, 77,000 trade union members join in a demonstration for freedom and peace. In Italy, where the unions were destroyed by fascism, nearly 2 million workers are again organized in CISL, a fast and free-growing non-political trade union. May Day 1951 finds Union President Pastore in Naples telling members that although founded just a year ago, their union already challenges in size and power the communist-dominated union. The goal of organized labor remains a fair day's wage for a fair day's work. As more and more workers achieve this goal, the frontline defense against communism grows stronger. For free workers, protected from exploitation and political interference, remain the true strength of Western democracy.